the signs say drinking water arrows. All these arrows point to a steel metal box. There is no tap. There is no faucet. And I'm looking like, man, like I go there, like how do I drink water out of this thing? There is like no tap. So next thing I notice is like some people go and then they just get to it and then water is coming out of this metal box. I'm like, whoa, that is so cool. So I go there, I put my head down, closer to the metal box, and no water coming out.
All right, BeatiDudes Nation. Welcome back to another fun-filled, fantabulous Friday episode. My name is Paul Kolker, and this is a podcast for Christian men seeking to grow in holiness, walking arm in arm with each other, getting to eternity through authentic fraternity. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Jeff Scheffelbein.
Feeling kingly today.
And that's it. And Nick Besner.
Yes, also.
You look like a sous chef.
You look like a Sue Jeff. I don't know.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
No, you look like a Sue.
Oh, Jeff.
Female.
Wow. Shots fired already. We're 5 seconds into this episode. But we are back for a bonus episode. If you didn't listen to Monday's episode, please go back and listen to it. We learned all kinds of great things about Project Finding Calcutta. Because, as Mother Teresa said, you don't have to go to Calcutta to serve the poor. Find your own Calcutta and take care of the people there. But the person behind it, the person who set all that up, is none other, I'm going to try to get the full name here, is none other than Anand Bheemarasetti.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yes.
82 points again.
Yeah! Oh, I just got awarded points.
Wait, hold on.
Christopher, that's unofficial.
82 points of light.
Stricken from
We're
the record.
so far behind, Paul. If he was behind in any chance of losing, fine.
82 light nails in the road for him to run over and maybe pop a tire. Just want to catch
A
up.
points tire. A points
Thank
tire.
you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got to
so-
translate sometimes.
Gotcha. Well, welcome back.
Feisty Friday.
Get you back.
So we learned a lot about your discernment and your road to marriage, but service. You found service along the way with focus, and then you went on to create a whole project here, projectfindingcalcutta.com, but now I think we want to hear a little bit about how your story about coming from India to America.
Coming to America.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't that a movie?
A great
Yes.
Eddie Murphy.
That is
Yeah.
phenomenal Eddie Murphy movie.
Do I look like him? Yeah?
Go on.
No?
Keep going. Keep going. Tell me more.
Well, first time flying ever.
Wait, that was your first time flying? Was coming? Wow.
Yeah. So my parents had no clue what was going on. I told them I'm going to America, and just like I was saying earlier, I didn't know the difference between Washington, D.C. and Lincoln, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there are two big cities next to each other, named after two
Washington, Lincoln.
big
I
presidents.
would love
yeah.
to see what movies you watched growing up so I could understand what you thought you were about to go do.
Yeah, not
Amazing.
much. So, yeah, after on my way, first of all, I missed my first flight.
Oh, no.
Hot start.
Yeah.
Yep. Somebody said I needed to get certain stamp on my passport, which I couldn't figure out. Now we are talking 98. There is
Yeah.
no quick search on Google. So I went to the passport office for it, and the guy wouldn't do it. He was asking me to bribe him, and I refused to bribe him.
Wow.
And I just
I told him I'm going to America to find a bribe. I don't need one here. Got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
So that was in India. That guy was seeking bribe.
right. So we finally, by the time I got the passport and made it to the airport, the flight already left.
Gosh. Good planning.
Yeah. So I don't know to this day if that stamp was needed or not.
Yeah.
But got the stamp, and luckily I was able to catch the next flight. However, I missed all the other connections, and I got rerouted. Instead of going through Amsterdam, they flew me to Frankfurt. From there, they said another flight to Amsterdam. Except that in Frankfurt, they said, like, no, you cannot just go within Europe without a visa. Well, I have a visa to U.S. This is as a connecting flight. They're like, well, within Europe, to go from one country to another country, you have to have a local visa, transit visa. So I'm like, well, you guys have to figure that out. You're the one who gave me the reroute.
Yeah.
So I kind of left it on them. And while I was nervous because I didn't know what I was doing, somehow they rerouted me and they had to tell me, like, you cannot leave the airport and things like that.
Yeah.
So after all of that, made it to Lincoln, Nebraska, airport with 2 gates. And
You're all going to regret this. I'm going to be a big deal in Lincoln, Nebraska.
right. But the fun part was, besides missing the flights, which did not stress me out because I knew like how they'll somehow
You'll
figure it
get
out.
there.
Yeah. Figuring out little things. How do you find tap water? Which is what I did in India. Every time I'm thirsty, there are taps either in someone's house or at a school or some important building. What about at an airport? I didn't know. So first story is this, like, the signs say drinking water arrows. All these arrows point to a steel metal box. There is no tap. There is no faucet. And I'm looking like, man, like I go there, like how do I drink water out of this thing? There is like no tap. So next thing I notice is like some people go and then they just get to it and then water is coming out of this metal box. I'm like, whoa, that is so cool. So I go there, I put my head down, closer to the metal box, and no water coming out. Like, what am I, like, maybe some sensors or something, like, they're not recognizing me. I need water, and I just sat near there. I'm going to watch the next person, every move, and realize there is the hand that's going down, pressing a button or a little push thing, and boom, water coming out. Like, so littlest things we take for
those
granted
little
here.
ones are great.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love this. I think you should keep a whole record of these so we can share them. So I have a friend in my old office and he old company, and he came over, I think, to go to college, but he was trying to find a way to come over here to kind of get started on everything, and he had just learned English, and he was kind of showing off his English when he was at whatever office in India where they, approve everything and take a look at his itinerary. And so they're trying to like give him this visa, and they ask him a question, and he wants to show off that he knows this word. So he says this word, and then they deny him, and he comes out and he's crying in his car. He's distraught. It takes him a couple hours to muster up the courage to tell like his brother or whoever, or maybe a friend, that he got rejected, that he's actually not going to America. And they're like, what'd you do? And he's like, I did everything right. I said everything I was supposed to say. I've been practicing and practicing. So they walk through like the pattern of what was said in there, and they said, what day are you leaving? And he told them, and then they said, when are you coming back? And he said, eventually, because he wanted to show off that he knew a big American word. They didn't like the word eventually, but he didn't compute in that moment that eventually was the wrong answer for when you're coming back on this visa. Eventually. And so he had to like muster up like the courage to get back in there and go back. It was like out of like,
No,
weird
need to know
sense
the
pride.
date, good sir.
Yeah. I said eventually.
I don't mean to impress everybody, but
Watch this.
eventually.
Count the syllables, sir. Syllables?
Jeff's still learning English.
Pretty good chance they won't let me out of America out of fear for what I would represent.
Nice.
Man. And then did your family come visit soon after you moved here? Or have they ever visited? What's that story?
No,
I
well,
gotta take this out.
my
This thing is rubbing
parents-
my neck raw. From being in bedazzled neck world with your tight clothes on.
your shirt has a lot more bling. Actually, Paul's too, but yours more. Well, maybe you have a huge neck. That's the problem.
Maybe it's not the clothes, Jeffrey.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I feel
You-
strong. Thank
You've
you.
been roasted on a lot of episodes recently.
You got a fat neck. Boom roasted.
Boom roasted.
The helmet did not fit your head. Does that mean you have a fat head too?
Wow.
Let me tell you something. When you go home and put this on, your family and especially your bride will be like, "You smell phenomenal. You smell like a man."
Like sweat.
A man that snorts. Do you snort for me, Anand?
Oh my goodness. All right. I love the water fountain one. Or do you have any other like small little things as you're like adjusting? Adjusting to life.
Yeah. So I would, the hotel where I stayed at in Lincoln, Nebraska, I would call the front desk and like, hey, can I have some drinking water? Sticking with the water theme.
Yep.
The lady she brought a jug and a cup, and I was like, okay,
You're like,
great.
how does this work?
Like, are you gonna serve me, or
Put your head down near it.
is it gonna
Is it motion
splash
activated?
out?
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, so I figured that part out, and then like I'm still like new to the country. I'm afraid to leave the building to order food, so I'm on water diet at this point, mustering up the courage to figure out
Sure.
how to go and figure things out. So and then next thing, a few hours later, I called again, like, can I have some water again, please? And the lady came up this time without a jar. She just took the jar, put it in the sink, and she just filled it up. I was like, that's for washing. That's not drinking water.
Yeah.
So in India, like we have separate
different-
water,
yeah,
drinking water and then other water.
Mm.
So I couldn't tell if she was just upset at me or
Are you trying to
or
poison
that's
me
what
right now? Yeah.
or that's what Americans do.
Drink this and die, sir.
Not poison, but infection, sickness.
Yeah. So that's how I learned.
You can drink
that
the
you
tap water
drink
here.
water. Yeah, from every tap.
What have you seen in America? Go ahead.
Drinking in Lincoln. That's all I was.
I was thinking of Washington and drinking
Yeah,
from
nice.
his two.
That's great.
Yeah. So what about when all of the Americanos go with you to India? Do you ever see them do something that you're like, stop, don't put your hands, don't do whatever, like they're just dumb?
Yeah, is there some adjustment in reverse?
Yeah.
Oh, I have so many of those. I love taking people to India because I can just laugh for a long time. And I do tell them.
You laugh in front of their back.
Both.
Okay. Behind
I give them a heads up.
One is funny. I feel like Americans have this like weird, like we know everything and we know very little. And I've watched, like, if I travel,
Oh yeah.
there's this like, let me tell you what happy hour is. And I'm like, please shut up, sir. You're making Americans look so stupid right now. Like, nobody needs to hear what a happy hour is in the middle of the Serengeti. Like, we're okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a big flex. I went to the Serengeti. I've never been to India.
Tell us about India.
yeah, well, one of the things with the group, I usually tell them is once after you're there, just it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be tough. And they're like, no, I'm tough. I've hiked and I've gone on camps and
Yeah.
I slept in tents and like, no, this is different. A lot of them say like, oh, I got this. I'm ready for India. We get out of the airport, New Delhi usually, step out and immediately they come like, Anand, I'm so lost. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. Everybody's talking to me. I don't understand anything they're saying. Well, the first thing that happens is they want you in their taxi or everybody want to sell something or scam you. In between all of that, like people are so confused and they all kind of freeze every trip. Like they're like so confused that they don't know like
An
how to respond.
overwhelming number of locals saying like,
Yeah.
"Hey, here's a fresh shipment of Americans. Let's get them."
Yeah. Like there is no personal bubble. Everybody's on top of each other. So I do tell them like, okay, so you can interact, but when you smile, which is a very American thing, you look at a stranger, you smile and say, how you doing or something. They take it literally because that's what I did. My first day in Lincoln, Nebraska, walking on the sidewalk. Man, maybe this is day 2 when I was really hungry and I couldn't drink water anymore. I was walking and like this guy like gives a head nod and like, how you doing? And I was ready to answer, but he did not care for my answer. He left. He took off. He asked the question. He took off.
What is this?
Yeah, this is confusing. Like, what is up with these people? Do they want to talk or not talk? Make up your mind first before you ask the question. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. So I tell people like, okay, in India, people don't do small talk. Like unless you're ready to talk, don't even smile. Well, a lot of people, it's habit, right? They just smile and immediately all these homeless people come running.
Oh, they'll talk to me.
Yeah. They smile at me because they're gonna give me money, or like all this like people. Oh, they smile, so they want a picture with me. So they come and it gets overwhelming. But with this interaction, what we take for granted, or other one is like, hey guys, you're gonna find yourself walking on the right side. In India, you need to walk on the left side. So they're constantly dodging through people, a lot more than the usual. It's already busy, and I'm like, guys, left side, left side. They're like, oh yeah, you're right. Like you told us about this, and they keep going to the right. And another one is like they panic when we go in taxis from place to place, because they start yelling at the driver like, you're driving on the wrong side of the street. Like, guys, just relax. He got it.
It's been doing this a while. This makes me just panic just listening to this whole story.
I know.
And it's not that I think I would be on the wrong side walking. It's that I would be so overcome with wanting to always be correct in my walking that I would probably be touching the wall on the left-hand side to make sure that I didn't break the walking rule whatsoever. And I wouldn't look at anybody and I wouldn't make a single face. So I would just be like hungry American man looking for tap water.
Right. Yeah, you might be.
I get it.
Drinking water, to be clear.
Drinking water. Yes.
Different from other water.
That's correct. Well, you've been washing us with some great stories here, and we appreciate it. And we're just drinking in your wisdom.
There you go.
Wow.
You know, if people heard the first show, we talked in depth about your whole life and all of your dating woes. And I think if you're a man,
And successes.
yeah,
And eventual success.
Focus.
we
Keep
went through
asking on.
a long arch to get to the success. So there was a lot of nuggets of
There were woes.
wisdom for young men in the dating
Yeah,
world
that's
out
right.
there.
Yeah.
And then we
give up.
Consistency is the,
Yeah.
I think, name of
Keep
the
trying.
keep trying. What about the part where she didn't call back once, so you put her on hiatus for 3 years?
But then he
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You got a point.
Eco-geography.
And there was prayer in there as
Discernment.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
discernment.
make him look good. Okay, so
Thanks, guys.
it worked out in the end. Yeah, neat. Brotherhood of the Saramis. Salam.
Salami.
Dama.
No.
Nope. So, but I just want people to know they can find your cool, unique service opportunities through projectfindingcalcutta.com, the website. And that you're our neighbor here in Vatican Valley at Lucid Private Office. So we are very grateful for you, for your friendship. And you know what else we're grateful for?
What?
The folks at Coronation Media for the release of Firebreaker series, which is a new and unique take on St. George and the Dragon.
Yeah, seriously, you guys need to check this out.
I know, and I told them in
You
person
you set it up in a goofy way, but like this is seriously something y'all need to check out.
I said that we would make it so awkward that people would have to look at firebreakerseries.com.
You are nailing it.
Nailed it.
Listen, Paul's going to interpret for you folks. This story has courage.
Courage,
It has friendship
friendship,
and sacrifice.
sacrifice.
If you don't want to check out firebreakerseries.com right now, something's wrong with Y-O.
You.
I don't even know what's happening. We are delirious. But seriously,
That's
check
the exact notes they gave me for commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Spell out you awkwardly.
Wow. We are
Great
batting
branding.
1,000.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in for today's bonus episode. Seriously, go check out firebreakerseries.com. Please share the show, especially if you know somebody who's interested in service and wants to find more ways to get plugged in for service in Dallas and taking care of people. seriously, corporal works of mercy, they're a phenomenal way to make the love of God incarnate in somebody else's life. So please, 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 please share the show, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We will see you next time, and until then, we will
See you in the Eucharist.
God bless.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @, so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ BeatiDudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.